Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I have another review for you. From Marvel Comics, we got Kang, issue number 3. It is written by Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly. Artist is Carlos Magno, with colors by Espen Grundetjern. And then we got letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced some of those names. I apologize. I will show you off some of the art at the end of this review. So basically, Nathaniel Richards, right? It is, let me make sure I'm reading that right? Nathaniel, that's the person that is Kang, right? So in this story, basically Kang went back, found Nathaniel Richards before he became Kang, gave him all the knowledge of everything to come, and now this Kang, this version of Kang, Nathaniel Richards, is basically going through his timeline, trying to do things differently with that said knowledge. Where last off we left him, he was basically joining Apocalypse during his reign, during Egypt and stuff, already besting that Ramon Tut, that version of Kang during their timeline, meeting Ravonna, and eventually I think Ravonna gets killed. Now in this issue we have basically Nathaniel being put into a slumber state where his power basically keeps him alive or something like that. Apocalypse basically puts him into this sarcophagus where he waits millennia, and then wakes up in our in our 80s or whatever, and basically it's the very first time he wakes up in the very first time where the Avengers run into Kang. Kang invades, and he invades as this space invader type version of himself. And as this is going on, Nathaniel Richards he wakes up, he looks for the necessary equipment, what he needs to do. He starts building this weapon, and then already knowing everything that's going to happen, he just waits for Kang on it, to show up, park his ship. He hops on his ship and starts basically sneaks up behind Kang and tells him that he's going to kill him, and he does so easily. The problem is during this, and because there's bits and pieces of the history that he doesn't know, but Doctor Doom shows up in the middle of this. There is this quick alteration between Doctor Doom and that Kang and Nathaniel Richards, the new Kang. But eventually the two Kangs team up and eventually teleport Doctor Doom out of there, because Doctor Doom was quickly overpowering both of them. But with both of them working together, they quickly they beat him and teleport him off the ship. After that, Nathaniel Richards does what he was supposed to do. He eventually does shoot and kill Kang, leaving him for dead in that timeline. And then basically he uses the time stream, his ship, and he goes back to complete what Kang was supposed to have done, where he leaves getting bested by the Avengers, and then goes back in time, and that's when he sets up his Ramon Tut. So now with him in place as Ramon Tut, he goes back this time trying to change it so he can save Ravonna. But kind of like events we've already seen, they keep repeating itself. Eventually the same thing happens where Fantastic Four shows up and eventually bests him, and eventually this time while he's trying to escape, he ends up running into a different version of Ravonna, and this one she's more a futuristic, because he tries to escape that timeline to the future where he was he's supposed to go way far into the future after he's Ramon Tut. And this time when he goes far into the future, he sees a very futuristic version of Ravonna, and with weapons and stuff like that, and that's where this issue leaves off. Honestly, it's a great read. Honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the better Marvel reads that they have going. I think it's that reason for a big reason. But it did not disappoint. Doctor Doom showing up was the conversation between Nathaniel Richards and the first version of Kang. But this Apocalypse, subduing with the power, that's him sleeping for the millennium. Him basically waking up during the time of the Avengers, and then moving forward, eventually sneaking up on the ship with when Kang shows up. Eventually Doom shows up, wrecking kind of the party. you know, there's a whole big dialogue between both Kangs on why he should help him team, you know, with the Dr. Doom thing. Eventually, him shooting Kang, getting rid of him. Him going back, posing as Amon Tut, I think was his name. And eventually the Fantastic Four showing up, besting him trying to escape and leave again, and this time Ravonna in the future, you know, and that's where we're going to leave off. Hey man, it was a great book. The art is stellar. The art is, I mean, it is really good. But hey, that's my review. I'll let y'all go, and I'll see y'all later. Please like, comment, subscribe. It costs nothing. It's very simple. And I will see y'all later. Bye.